Okay, 6:38. We'll call
try to
the
find
committee of the whole meeting to order. August the 24th. Item number 1.1, town to do demolition.
This came up at the last council meeting, whereas council asked if it was possible for us to do some of our own demolition. I have Sam here, just in case there's any question. Sam informed me that this is something that we could possibly do, but we would need another attachment for our equipment. It's called a thumb attachment, and there's pictures attached for you. It's costing approximately $8,000 to $10,000. What this attachment will also do is permit us to do pulling out of trees, removing large rocks from excavations, dealing with posts, helping separate large items at the dump, cleaning up debris in the water on the dock, like the trees, driftwood, and large rocks. So how often would we need to do these demolitions is a question I would ask, and I believe this would provide us with another valuable piece of equipment. One or two small demolitions, if it's what we were talking about, it would pay for itself to get that additional attachment.
Well, if we had that when we did the demolition of the tourist bureau.
That one I think was a little more difficult because it was
Okay.
cinder block.
yeah.
Cinder block, okay.
But we were
Oh, I
talking
just thought,
about
yeah.
a place on 7th that's been there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
That's our property rather than hiring someone to do it.
Yeah, wood
Would've
frame,
been ideal.
wood frame building would work good for.
What about when there's like a burnt down house, but it's not the town's property yet, but it's still sitting half burnt down?
I guess we could go through our bylaws and if we have to
Yeah.
eventually pull it down and
There's
do
a
that,
few of
yes.
those, and they gotta come down.
There's a few like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then send them a bill.
So,
Yes.
if I'm hearing this correctly, if we buy this piece of equipment, it'll pay for itself in the first month.
Yeah, and naturally, while we have crews doing that, it'll delay us in some stuff, but
Right.
there's nothing saying we wouldn't get all the jobs done.
Right.
It's not like we're gonna be doing this 15 times a year, we hope.
I was kind of surprised in our league don't have an excavator with a thumb on it.
Yeah, our crew is really
That's
upset about
pretty
it.
pretty unusual for guys doing water and sewer and stuff, that they don't
Yeah.
have an excavator with a thumb.
And this is just an estimate, what we would do is tender it out, and then once the tender comes in, we'd be bringing it back to council and telling you where the money would be coming from.
So we take it to tender and see what happens, see what we get?
I would say so.
Set a resolution to do that.
Well, just one question, do we have to wait to give it next reading before we do that, or can we put out a tender now?
We can put up the tender now.
Okay.
Yeah, when the tender comes in.
Available for the next meeting. Okay, 3.1, Community Development Corporation, Counselor Gibb.
So there's some requests about updates on the CDC. We have to updated statements. And I guess the question is, how do people want this communicated back to council? Do you want a presentation every quarter? Just want it whenever you have a question put in? So just,
Originally it was set up for presentations.
Yeah.
and is that gonna be in camera, or is it gonna be in community of the whole, or how are we gonna do it?
I would prefer, you know, Mr. Transparency here, I'd prefer to have it in camera and not have to say anything right off the top, just get the information and see what we're gonna do with it, but I would think a presentation quarterly would,
Can we set dates, so we?
sure we can set dates, absolutely.
January, April, July, and December.
January would be ideal, just because that's
Yeah,
your
yeah,
end stuff
yeah.
and before
So
budget.
just start there and work out.
Every 3 months, yeah.
January.
January,
So you got a couple
July,
days.
so do
the next one in July?
yeah, July and October.
So we'll have the first presentation in July. Does that work? Okay, do that?
Sure, that's fine by me, that works for me, I don't know, I won't speak for the rest, but,
Sounds good to me.
It's probably gonna be in July.
yeah.
I'll let you know the July dates and meetings.
Okay. If anyone wants a copy of the statements to March 31st, I have them here.
Okay, I love it.
I would like them. Right.
But questions in July.
Well,
No questions in July.
For 4 months.
you went through a great effort of printing that off, we should at least read it.
What, didn't make it pretty with pie charts
Nope.
and?
No, simply a copy.
Take note of that, Sam.
It was weak.
We just want.
So weak.
How much color ink did you use?
None of mine. I don't have a passcode. I'm not joking. One person has a color passcode, not.
Okay, well, we're not gonna be asking any questions on this, so.
Just some of the other updates, I know it's since everything happened with CKPI, where we hired Bill Henderson. Sort of been muddling along, but I think now, today, after the announcement with CPCRC and some of the things Crystal mentioned, there'll be some discussions in the coming weeks, how we're gonna set things up.
Okay,
So certainly some clarity around that. Jim, you and I have spoken about that Churchill Renewal Economic Development Fund, regional, Churchill
Regional,
Regional.
yeah.
So someone's working on one of those,
good.
so that should be coming up as well.
We have a meeting this Thursday, where there's more applications coming in.
Okay,
Okay?
So the action on this is set quarterly meetings starting July, will be the first meeting.
Yeah. All right, item number 4.1, Dayton Bridge flagpoles. Councilor Gibb.
so when we had the joint meeting with OCN, it came up, I brought up about, there's 2 flagpoles on each end of the Bisno Bridge. On that one side, there should be 1 flag from each community, and the same on the other side, 1 flag from each community. So I don't know if that's something the town wants to entertain, or something we bring back to the CBC, but I think it would look good. And go somewhere, go in a direction
We
where,
ordered small flags, we didn't order anything that would fit to that capability, but I think they can make bigger ones, where we have the mold.
right, mold.
Well, yeah, it's not gonna move, it's gonna be one of those signs
It's
that
a
is.
3 here.
So is that something
Yeah.
we want to look at, or take it, I could take the,
I really believe it,
Well,
that's where it should come, yes.
$100 for 2 of them.
Yeah.
I can't see it costing more than 8
No.
for 2 big flags.
No, it wouldn't cost that much. Less.
Yeah,
The big one out here, the big Canadian one, I think is an $800 flag.
I think I was at the
We don't need
hotel.
that big.
Do it first, ask me. Just kidding. You will take it.
Do we
So if
have,
that's something, then I guess we have to approach OCN as well, or I can do that if you want me to do that.
I think you mentioned that maybe we just do it on our own without, like to just do it, period. Did you-
Sure, and they can.
And let them know that
give
we're
us-
doing it,
Yeah,
because they'll want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
And to take it from community enhancement?
yeah?
Pretty much is.
yeah. Okay, Provincial Road 628, sorry?
Nothing.
Okay, Provincial Road 628, Tolko Road sign. I said that word out loud.
There's still a roadside that says Tolko Road on there
Today?
today. I sent you the text Friday morning when I was driving from
Yeah.
416. So can we ask Highways to have that removed? Removed and either changed or just removed, period. It's just a regular street sign.
What we do is do a motion for a resolution and send it to them, so is that what I'm hearing is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Council wishes to move forward with a resolution that would say that we ask them to change the name of the road.
Okay.
And do we want to change the name to something,
Yeah.
or?
It's kind of their issue. You can
Is
make a
it?
suggestion if
I
you
wish you
wish,
could certainly
as to what you would like to hear it, like, or would like it named.
It's way nicer than PR 628, I'll tell you that.
Forestry Way or
Word
something?
you wish, sure.
Yeah, first street.
Brandy's Lane?
Birch Bay.
Yeah,
No, the paper trail? Paper trail. Hey, that's a good one. That's awesome. We should do that.
I've been thinking of
That's
that
a
since
good
we
one.
looked at this on Thursday.
Yeah.
I've been waiting.
Flag that you're trying to knock down that tree. We can incorporate, see?
No. Okay, here we go. 4.3, communication policy. Councilor Morse.
Well, first I just kind of want to apologize. I feel kind of like an idiot a little bit because I had asked if there was a communications policy and I was told there wasn't a communications policy. So had I known that there was one, I kind of would have used that as a starting off point. But I mean, even kind of looking over it, I just think that we need a better communications policy that's a little bit more clear and consistent because we're not always good at getting information out in a timely manner, and a lot of the times we're reacting to things when I feel like we could be proactive. The whole airport thing was a perfect situation. There still hasn't been any sort of official comment or really anything that I know of that's come out of the town. You know, there's nothing on the community updates page on Facebook, there's nothing on our website, and that's really awful in my opinion. People look to their leadership in time of crisis and turmoil, and so if they're looking to us and we're saying nothing, that does not look good. So I would suggest that, I don't know if there's maybe a subcommittee that needs to be formed to look at this a little bit more in depth, but definitely a conversation on a more consistent communication policy for internally and externally. I think that sometimes even within the or the internal operations, that communication could be better, so policies are good to review sometimes, so, yeah.
And my apologies for that, Crystal, I misunderstood what policies you were wanting versus how we do our day-to-day stuff. So that was my conversation to you, was telling you, well, we didn't really have, but we do, just a little different than what you were looking for.
I'm interested in what people think.
I think Crystal has brought up a good point, and I think we should, either through committee or whatever, working with administration, review it and look at some kind of changes or wording that better reflect some clear and concise action and a process to do it for whatever issues come up in the future.
Like even just like a few of the things like that I've noticed is like something like if somebody needs to get a hold of somebody after hours for an emergency, you know, like the sewer's backing up or, you know, there's a water break or whatever. Like you can't just go to our website and find the emergency number. It was like funny because I needed to call it one day, so I Googled it, the Town of the Paw emergency number, and the RM of Kelsey came up and Town of a million things came up, but the Town of the Paw didn't. And I went to our website and, you know, tried to find it, and I was just like, And, you know, sometimes on Facebook, we're really good at like, you know, there's a water main break here, so people might be experiencing, you know, discolored water or low pressure or whatever, but it doesn't always happen all the times, and people will go to the Facebook page before they'll phone the town a lot of the times just to see if that information's there. So, again, just like consistency, right? Like, well, when so-and-so street had a water main break, how come you guys put it on Facebook? And then when we had a water main break, nobody said anything, and I know people, you know, they try to get the letters out and crap happens, right? Like you can't predict at 8:30 in the morning that you're gonna have to turn off the water at 10 because, you know, you need to work on a line or whatever, but I just think that, you know, I know I always preach social media, but it really is a wonderful tool and it's a really good, great way to get information out to a lot of people very quickly. And, yeah, so.
If you phone, this is not for people on here, but for people on the side of the camera, if you phone the town's main switchboard number 627-1100 in off hours, there's a message on there, and it has a whole pile of information, and one of them is the emergency number. I think that there should be a tab on our website that says emergency number, click it, and the number will show up. That's what we need to do. I agree, that's just,
Or like even like we do have like the contact us page where it has, you know, like it has your phone number, email addresses, and Jen, and you know the department heads, like even to have it on there, right? Like for emergencies or after hours or whatever, like just call. And I mean that's just like, I mean I hear all sorts of things. I mean I don't want to like start like nitpicking and whatever, but I just.
It's not nitpicking, it's pointing out because we see it every day, so for us it's second nature. So when someone points out where it could be done better, like where you said maybe put it in there, I believe it deserves a box on its own on our
Yeah, for
front page as
For
soon as
sure,
you pull it out.
for sure.
and that's how you get those things done, you go, ooh, what's
And
that
I
one?
mean, part of it is we're in the age where, I mean, people want information and they want information right now, right? So I mean, like, people need to you know, we still need to take that into consideration, but I think we could do better.
Okay, any other comments? All right,
I think when we're doing this too, we need to take a look at technology and where we want to be 5 years from now kind of thing in terms of, because I've seen things where, and I believe it's the same company that, on that meeting, where they send notifications directly to your cell phone and that, and municipalities do that. So when there's a water issue or whatever, it just goes out there to everybody they're connected to, and if it's the old thing, if you tell one person, they tell two people, and you get it out without, and the difference there is people don't have to go searching for it. It comes if it's not important to you to leave.
okay, so we'll put together
Committee?
a committee to build a new communication policy. We'll get that message out to the right people.
Do we want to get that now, so
Yeah,
that
let's-
we can start
Yeah.
going?
Yeah,
Take what you've prepared and take what we have, and have at her.
Yeah, it might be within the framework of that, it would probably make sense to identify, like with the closure of Grace Lake announcement, like there's a need within a half a day to be able to release something. It would be good to specifically identify that in the instance where some kind of communication needs to go out immediately, this is the, you know, it's not trying to circulate an email
Yep.
through 9 people to agree what sentence should be said where. It's these 3 people are going to draft it, and this one representative is gonna sign it and off it's gonna go kind
Yeah.
of thing.
That would make life much easier.
Yeah.
Well, the
Because
municipal-
right now, by the time we actually get everybody to go, yeah, this is good, it's old news.
Yeah, so.
That's why we don't bother with it.
Yeah,
It's
so
silly.
within the context of that policy or whatever, make sure there's a mechanism there that says, if there's a need for an immediate release of information or whatever, that there's a way for that to happen without it having to.
A lot of the times it's our message, not a gossip column, it's our message.
Yeah, that's right, it's.
And I mean, sometimes the message, it just needs to be like, we're aware and, you know, like, we're doing what we can, even if we don't, you know, sometimes we have information that we can't put out right now, but
We
like.
just put a banner on the webpage.
Yeah.
that says,
We
Welcome
are
to the town
aware."
of the Paw, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Dot, dot, dot.
Yeah.
Whatever it is,
You
we're
almost-
working on
You
it.
Yeah.
almost could, but I mean, people just need to know that, right?
Up to
Like,
date.
So who would like to be on that committee?
I mean,
I will be on that committee. George, don't, this is cat on camera, darn, I'm just kidding. George's gonna know I signed up for another committee.
So, Brian, anyone else?
Of course I'm interested in it, yes.
I'm like, come on, Mr. Communications over there.
Okay, so what we'll do for that committee is provide you with, well, you do have the existing policy and Crystal's draft policy, so we'll just wait till we get something back from your
Okay.
committee.
And this is like a total pipeline thing that is somewhat tied into this, like as internal communication. Like, I went onto Allnet and I looked up communication policy, but of course, like I got like, anytime the word policy and whatever communication has ever been used, right? So it's like scrolling through and like trying to find it. So in my pipeline dream, it would be really awesome if on Allnet, like our policies and bylaws, I know there's a lot of them, and like even if it was like something that took like a year, but like we're eventually on there. Cause like even if you Google like other municipalities, like, you know, communications policy, again, like I got town of, you know, like just everybody seems to have their information out there. And I know we have some of our bylaws and stuff on our website, but people often ask questions about bylaws and stuff that aren't on there. And it's like, you know, so then I'm trying to go into Allnet to like find the bylaws so that I can give them the information. And again, like it would be nice if they were accessible to the public. And I know it's a big, huge task, but like,
But ideally though, Crystal, that's why we used to have summer students. We've cut back in the front on staff, so I know that's not possible for our staff. But maybe that is something to look at, is having someone as a summer student, put that information in.
right, even if you did it like really, like, even if you did it really manageably, like, you know what, can you upload 2 bylaws and 2 policies a week? You know, or 1 bylaw and 1 policy a week, and even if it took a year, whatever, right, like,
I personally would sooner see it
like,
get done.
I know, but like, and then have like a summer
Well,
student.
it is, because you're gonna
Working
forget
on
when
it,
you're doing
but-
1 or 2, it's just
Yeah.
gonna sit by the wayside, and it's not effective doing it that way.
The policy won't be too bad to get on there, I'm in the process.
Because there's not as many.
And I'm in the process of updating them all, so you guys are all gonna see them very,
Mm-hmm.
very
Yeah,
short.
the policy book is only
And I'm
that
hoping
thick.
to get it
Yeah.
small.
I just mean like, you know how like for us on our system, like when we go in, like there's the different like folders and files that give us some history and background information on some of the things. So it would be nice, cause I mean then it would save, I think it would save you guys some time and stuff too, because then instead of us coming to you, like we have access to the bylaws and the policy, so we can just go and
But there's
and
nothing
open
wrong
and
with
read
putting
them
that out in
ourselves.
public though,
For
rather
sure.
than even just on our own.
For sure, for sure.
I might suggest you get a hold of Allnet too. They may have a new upgrade that we can get
Yeah.
fairly inexpensively, it'll cut down on the search time. And by the way, where I work, we put out a policy of the week, we have for over a year now, and it's like, ooh, it's Monday, we get the policy of the week, see what's going on.
I do this for the school division, like as an EA, lots of times I get like admin stuff and it's like the same thing, like it's policy and like sometimes it's like, you get like a policy and on Monday it was changed and then on Friday it was like changed back to the policy, you know what I mean? Like they change all the time.
Okay, 4.4, Tourism North.
This is something you had talked about earlier, Crystal, in our regular council meeting. This was a request to do a quarter-page ad, and I understand that this is something that,
So the Destination
Destination
Marketing
Marketing.
Committee had talked about it and I know that, is it Travel Manitoba that we usually pay or we get a thing for membership for?
I think so.
Yeah, so that was something that they would like to kind of take over too, is a membership in that, because.
Things are gonna be changing with that, and I'm not sure. Travel Manitoba is going to be involved in the Tourism North more. That's what
Okay.
Tourism North is gonna be answering to, is
Okay.
Manitoba Travel now.
Okay,
There's a whole new structure going on.
okay. But just something to keep in mind, like if they're sending, for like memberships and whatever, that.
So I guess some of these other memberships that are communities oriented is more what you're saying, you guys would consider.
Like if it's like
So maybe if
marketing
they
type
come in-
advertising
Okay.
and stuff, like that would be something the committee would consider. So well, I already have it in our minutes that we would pay
Okay.
the membership, so it would
So I
just be
can
a
let them know that
figuring
one of us
out.
will be.
Cause like we don't have a bank account, right, so
Okay.
like I can't just go back to my committee, we haven't figured that part of the paying out yet, so I don't know if it's easier for you to pay it and then invoice us for it, or, I'm like, where's Jody? We gotta figure out that system, so.
Yeah, we can send an invoice, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe moving forward, before we bring them to this table, we'll run them through the destination marketing, if it's something you guys are interested
Yeah,
in.
if you just wanna send them to us, that's fine.
Can I just ask one question, Crystal? Because it's really not here. So Tourism North,
Yeah.
it was CDC that had the position of Tourism North. Then when
Yeah.
CDC wasn't running, I was put on it for
For
the
the
time
town.
being,
So-
for the town, so I'm
I
not sure.
think I can.
Sounds like permanent to me.
I think
No,
I can
that's
kind of
fine.
answer that, because right now, the destination marketing and the CDC and the chamber would all like to go in to have one central like marketing tourism person.
Yeah.
So I think when that person got hired, that would be something that we could transfer to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
like, I don't mind sitting on, I just wasn't sure where this.
4.5, San Luis Museum Board Appointments.
This is the regular resolution is required to appoint Mr. Westrow to the Samoa Museum Board to December 31st, 2018.
Guess we
Need
need
a resolution for next year? Okay.
Uh,
Payrolls and accounts.
We would also require a resolution to approve pay period 8 in the amount of $99,066.32. Regular general checks in the amount of $228,743.77. Electronic funds transfer in the amount of $69,239.27. And these are just general normal checks, like some of the bigger ones, propane, chemical, fuel.
Okay.
Okay. Resolution to pay the bills, 1559 Gordon Avenue.
So we have tendered out the property at 1559 Gordon Avenue, and we have had an evaluation of tenders done. You'll see that this was done a little more in depth than has been in the past, Jody. This is much easier to follow, very well done. So we had 3 tenders. We had Wilfred Sanderson of $230,000, Robert Vito of $250,100, and John Anderson of $255,000. So we are recommending that the tender from John Anderson in the lump sum of $267,750, including GST, be accepted. So
Okay,
we would
and then-
require a resolution.
Okay, and then once you do the resolution, then it's just a matter of changing ownership over.
10 days, they have to pay the
Become a
balance.
taxpayer, yes, sir.
Your date of possession should probably line up at the beginning of the month. Unless you want to do a lot of reconciliation, look in Jody, because there'd be all those rents, right? So you're gonna have to figure that out. Otherwise you're owing them, it's just more work.
That's actually a good idea.
And
It happens to
so.
No, no, I-
So do however you
you-
see fit, Jody,
Yeah.
what makes sense for you.
Sorry, so can I ask a question? So what are we going to do with the tenants in that building? Are we willing to offer them office space in the town, or?
If someone comes to us, we definitely would be
Yeah, I
interested
think-
in looking at what they've got to say.
I think we kind of leave it kind of loosey-goosey for now and see what happens, because my understanding is new ownership is looking at leaving it as an office building.
Did we sell it as is, where is?
Yes.
Property
Property is sold
tenants go
as
with the
is.
deal, or
Pardon me?
what? Tenants go with the deal, or do?
Well,
It's their building,
not a
and we're
problem.
doing a month-to-month, so.
I would,
So we don't have a responsibility to have a,
No.
give them
No.
a vacant building, and they didn't make that.
They would have to
Another
give,
question?
sorry?
You go, Chad? You go, Chad.
no, I just wanted to say they'll have to give whatever notices they're required to give. I don't know how it works in commercial leases and that sort of thing,
It's
but,
30 days.
is it? Yeah, so,
Transfers
Give it those, he'll tell us.
With the proceeds, can we direct it toward the infrastructure reserve?
Council
capital
can
reserve?
direct it wherever they see fit.
Seeing it was an asset and we've taken that out for LaRose, right, so we've depleted it pretty extensively.
Isn't that what we talked about a little
I
while
just-
ago? Any monies
I
go
just
to
think that's a great idea, and that's exactly where.
That's
we're
twice in a row.
Yeah.
I know,
Were you drinking before?
we have used them all up for the year.
That's it.
The rules.
Can we go around
Sam, the
and
money's
just
yours.
go to make sure that there's no segregation?
Okay, wait, are we saying recreation or
Don't touch me.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
You said recreational.
No.
No.
Like,
No
no,
mumbling.
they already got,
Infrastructural renewal
Infrastructure.
reserve.
Yeah.
We just took
Okay.
We just took a
$2.6
whole pile
million
of money
out
out
of it, and
agreed.
Is, Ryan, good place for it to go? Margaret?
Yes.
Chad?
Yep.
Andrew?
Sounds good.
Yeah, Alan? Crystal?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have that much, yeah, it's only-
Yeah.
Did we
Yeah, okay.
send letters of notice to the tenants and all that stuff already, or are we doing that? Because my concern there is do they have any comeback on
No.
when we can move them out? or-
No, we're not moving it.
it's not.
We sold the
We
building.
sold the building.
It's
We,
not up,
we
it's not
could
up to
send them
the
a letter,
town.
just
Yeah,
saying
we
that
should send them a letter
they're,
saying.
just
I
saying that they're
think
changing
that-
ownership.
Good business, as Al always likes to say, would be to send them a letter and just inform them
Yeah.
that they might be.
Most of them are quite aware that it's a.
Oh,
I know that
Sale,
they
you
are.
don't wanna say anything
I know,
more
Some of
than
them
you
have
said.
No,
already
what- not
gone
until the
and
deal's
found
finalized.
other
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
Old news, yeah.
As soon as the deal's finalized.
Well, until you pass a resolution, we don't do anything with this,
Sure.
Yeah, no, I
That's
agree.
true.
because God knows what can happen by then.
We're stuck with the building again.
Well, anything
Okay.
can happen.
So we'll wait, we'll get a resolution and.
And that the excess funds that we're not
Yeah.
giving to the chamber be an infrastructure renewal fund.
Okay, motion to move in camera, please.
Be resolved that we now move ourselves into the in-camera portion of the committee of the whole with the Mayor Scott and the chair to discuss matters requiring our attention. Public Works, Planning and Development,
Yeah.
and Airborne.
Okay,